This episode is dedicated to Armin Gay's Ryan 8541, whose suggestion opened our eyes to a silent world beneath the waves where pencils and slates become tools of communication, survival, and discovery. There is a world where speech is silence, where voices cannot cross even a few feet, where the air in your lungs is precious and bubbles carry no words. This is the silent world beneath the waves, and in it, one ordinary object becomes extraordinary: the pencil. Most people think of pencils as tools for classrooms, letters, or grocery lists. But beneath the ocean's surface, where sound barely travels, and hand signals can only express a handful of meanings, pencils become a language. Divers use specially designed writing slates, waterproof boards held by clips or worn on the wrist, and pencils tethered securely to them. With these, they communicate detailed messages, record data, and mark dive plans while submerged hundreds of feet underwater. Imagine being surrounded by silence. No sound of voice, just pressure, color shifting with depth, and your own thoughts. How do you tell your dive buddy to turn left? How do you mark a dangerous current? How do you sketch a map of coral formations or note the depth of a wreck? Hand signals help with basic communication. Think okay, ascend, danger, but they cannot convey complex ideas, nuanced instructions, or written notes. Enter the dive slate and pencil. These slates are simple: a piece of waterproof plastic with a matte surface that won't smear or dissolve in salt water. A pencil, often attached by a tether so it won't float away, writes cleanly on this surface, allowing divers to spell out words where no voice can be heard. Instructors use them to give detailed feedback mid-dive. Marine biologists sketch observations of species they encounter. Underwater archaeologists map shipwrecks precisely. Recreational divers confirm dive plans, depths, and coordinate strategies. Even night divers use glow-in-the-dark slates so their writing remains visible in low light. But why such effort for pencil and slate? Because communication is critical in an environment where mistakes can cost lives. Water is not just denser than air. It blocks sound and limits what divers can say. Voice communication can be done with specialized helmets and equipment, but for most scuba divers, especially recreational ones, it simply isn't available. So divers have evolved a written language beneath the waves. Pencils for diving aren't special graphite at all. In fact, the simplicity of pencil and slate is part of what makes it perfect. No ink to smear, no electronics to fail, no reliance on batteries. It works whether you're at 20 feet or 200 feet. Divers can write anything from a depth reading, a sketch of the seafloor, a warning about a strong current, or even a simple "wow" to share excitement. Each message becomes a snapshot of understanding in an environment that encourages focus and precision. And this method has roots in the earliest days of modern diving. When Jacques Cousteau and Émile Gagnon developed the aqualung in the 1940s, the first successful open-circuit scuba, they opened the door to safe underwater breathing. But the deeper world was still silent, and early divers quickly realized that language had to adapt. Sign systems were standardized for basic signals, but the need for more detailed exchanges led to the adoption of slates and pencils. These tools then evolved into wrist slates, clipboard-style slates, and even printed waterproof notebooks divers could tear pages from. Dive instructors train students to use slates from their very first certification dives. They write written checklists before the dive, note safety stops mid-dive, or log errors and improvements during training. Pencils and slates become an underwater diary of sorts, an unspoken chronicle beneath waves of thought and data. Marine researchers use slates to record fish counts, coral conditions, or map underwater terrain. They might write out grid data or record compass courses, creating a permanent record of fleeting moments in water where voice fails. This has even extended to recreational divers who will jot down jokes, story ideas, or messages of wonder on the slate and share them on the surface. In a world that emphasizes visual and verbal communication, the underwater pencil reminds us that communication adapts to environment. When voice vanishes, writing survives. When sound stops, language transforms. Pencils don't broadcast emotion like a song. They don't shout warnings like a horn. But in the silent world beneath the sea, they become the backbone of connection. This is a place where bubbles rise, colors fade with depth, and silence tests your resolve. And yet, through the simple act of writing, human understanding persists. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden history behind everyday objects, subscribe to ObjectLore. There's more hiding in plain sight. Every object has a story. Most were forgotten. This was one of them. Welcome to ObjectLore. You already know the object. You don't know the story.